Welcome to The Downside. My name is Gianmarco Soresi. I'm here with my co-host Russell Daniels.
Hi.
For those of you who've never heard the show before, this is a place where we complain, we get negative, we lean into the downsides of things, and we're supportive. You don't have to pretend things are okay; they're not. What?
No, go ahead. Sorry.
We're joined by a phenomenal comedian, but more importantly, musical theater major, Esther Fallick.
Yes.
Welcome.
Hello, I'm so happy to be here.
Now, can I ask one thing we wanted to do before? I didn't want to just. So we're recording this a little early. It's New Year's.
Yes.
I'm doing a New Year's show at the Bell House.
New Year's Eve.
Oh, that's
New Year's
exciting.
Eve. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
And there's a band called Charlie and the Darlings.
Yes.
Yes.
You know them?
I'm aware.
They
Yes,
do
I know them.
shows.
So they dress very sexily, and I
Yes.
said I want to at some point come out in a more of an outfit that matches the vibe.
Okay.
A sexy outfit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not ready to use the word sexy because I don't know.
Take all the time you need to use
So-
the word sexy.
Well, first let me say this. So all I have is I had a thong from an old sketch.
Yeah.
But it's like it's
An
too.
old thong, I will say. We bought that thong for you.
I'm trying to like get to that. For sketches there was like nudity for the sake of comedy.
Yes, yes.
And then like this, I'm trying to veer right a little bit more into like nudity for like haha.
But also.
But also,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
barely know how to dress.
No,
Period.
comedy and arousal are very, very close together.
Yes, I
Yeah.
agree.
Okay.
But the shopping of it is I barely know how to shop for regular clothes, and so I'm reaching out to Charlie from Charlie and the Darlings on where do I go?
Yeah.
And they say to go to this place that mostly specializes in women's clothes, has a little bit of men's, but they're like that's where you're going to find the sparkly. I wanted like a sparkly jacket because I
Okay.
had these like gold tight things.
Yeah.
So I'm there, and I'm trying on these things, trying not to rip them because they're also very expensive.
Yeah.
And I'm talking to there's a woman helping me out, and we bring up comedy. I'm seeing if maybe we could get a sale or something or discount. And they say, oh, they've been to the cellar. They saw Amy Schumer, and I said, oh, my podcast co-host is a big fan of her geopolitical views. and then they go, I dated a comedian actually.
Oh.
And I go, oh. Who? And she goes, and they made a skit. They made a skit out of like our relationship. Or
Oh my
whatever.
God.
Not like mad, but just kind of jokey. Like maybe a joke happened to be. And
They said skit
Yeah.
instead of
and-
sketch.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And so then I say who? Who knows? Maybe
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Some guy named Lucas Stone. And I look at my phone and I say, Lucas
my
Stone
God.
and I are about to see each other
my
in
God.
1 hour. And I show that you are literally just texting me. And they had nothing but nice things to say. They said it was all very pleasant and good.
Okay.
Not a single
Okay.
complaint, or I wouldn't
Well,
bring it up.
our
They also
producer-
do a
Part of the
podcast
podcast
was
where I
about
go
to-
into a 45-minute investigation on who this person is. Is this a bit? This is a real thing that happened.
This
Oh,
is a
no, it wouldn't have.
100%. And I literally got to take
So
out
you
my
have
phone.
to-
I was like, I need to text him back right now, actually. And
Producer
she
Lucas
was
Stone.
lovely, very nice. And again, she could have easily ripped into you.
Wait, turned our relationship. She said I turned it into a skit.
She said you made a joke or a skit or something out of something.
Who was it?
Lucas is like,
Please
I
don't say
told her
name.
not to call him skits.
We can bleep.
No, I'm just like
we
I
can bleep
lie
the
on
name.
stage all the time.
He's mouthing the name.
I don't know who this is. Am I a bad person? They said we dated.
They said
Oh,
they
no.
said
This is not what I thought was going to
Oh
happen.
no, I'm so sorry.
Bring her out.
Here she is. But we'll figure it out later. We'll get to the but the bottom, like, do you mind if I put my outfits underneath?
Oh,
it's a
let's
little bit
see
more.
it.
Yeah,
sure.
let's see it.
I'm worried it's not good.
Wait, you have a jacket though? You said, or no? You didn't get a
I
jacket.
Trying
could
to
put a
find a
jacket.
jacket?
I'm sure by the end of the shirt's gonna come off.
Okay, let's just start with what you're
Okay,
thinking
so-
you're gonna do.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna have a panic attack for the next 50 minutes over here.
I
But you
know,
guys continue
I
doing the
know.
podcast.
So first I got these shoes. They're not the right size.
That's
They're
true,
a
they're
size
good
too
shoes.
big.
They're good.
They're half a size too big.
They're
So
fun.
probably
They
gonna
feel New
trip.
Year's.
Okay, so first, so first it's like a belly shirt, which I don't think necessarily
Okay.
looks good.
Okay.
But it's like it's sparkly.
Yeah.
And it's gold.
What does
Yeah.
it say?
And it goes with the shoes. I think it might say it says like rock,
Rock
and
and roll
And I figured
is
they're gonna
not
be
dead.
they're gonna be
Yeah.
'cause
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, the jackets were $750.
Oh.
And in your head you're going like, how far am I willing
How
to go?
is this worth?
Wow.
And if it
Yeah.
fit better, I probably would have.
Well, it's one of those things too. You're trying to be like, how many times will I wear it? Actually,
I think there's also a question of will the tag be visible?
Yeah.
Well, I also
If
like
yeah.
if I had really just bought it, but I did the whole like I'm a comedian and I'm for a thing. So the moment I say like, what's the return policy? It's just like it would be so obnoxious.
Yeah.
It would be so because I imagine they get a commission, and then if I return it, do they lose the commission?
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
No, I don't know, but probably.
So, but the reason is just so we can go along with these bad boys. So
Okay.
I don't know if the camera
Okay.
can
I
pick it up.
see. I see.
I don't know
So-
if the camera
Yeah.
can pick it up.
So yeah, so I just had to find. So I figured like this.
Yeah.
And I come out.
Did
and
you this was a set together, or you found
what's
them?
funny is I got dance things for a promo I did where the
Yeah,
third
yeah,
leg thing.
yeah.
This is a different pair. I don't know what this is from.
Wait, you just had this?
I just had them.
This was just in your house.
Yeah.
That actually makes sense to me.
Yeah.
There's nothing surprising. You seem surprised, but
Yeah,
I
I
know
guess.
Gianmarco less, and I'm not surprised.
Yeah. So this so you're wearing the shoes, you're wearing this, then no jacket, anything on the head.
No, because Tova said I don't look good in hats.
Okay.
I mean, maybe I'll pick up like a New Year's thing on the way if there's like a gold one.
No, I
Yeah,
hate-
like a
I-
2025.
Actually, I was gonna say this got stopped for me. The New Year's decorate. Like I hate.
Go do your.
Yeah,
This got to stop
I-
early.
yeah,
Tell
yeah.
me why
Stop.
you hate it.
I hate the fucking New Year's glasses. I hate the fucking hats. I
Yeah.
hate the whistles. The glasses.
Oh my God,
I
the Grinch of New Year's
just
Eve
like,
over here.
Because it's a fake like cardboard hat. No one looks good in a dumb fucking child birthday party kind of looking hat.
Okay, you do the Mardi Gras. Go ahead.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I feel like I look good, and I feel like
Okay.
someone told you didn't look good.
No,
in
no.
a cardboard hat.
Listen, I'm looking at everyone. I've never seen one person where I've been like, that person is elevated because of a dumb New Year's Eve hat. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
But this is
or
like
those glasses
Russell
with
loves
the
Mardi Gras, and
I
like,
do.
Isn't this the equivalent of being like no one wants to see the purple beads, cheap,
Yeah.
cheap beads?
No, because there's a lot more creativity involved in Mardi Gras. It's not just like, I mean, yes, you can just have the basic beads and the basic colors, but there's not like it's something about just putting on a cardboard hat.
Yeah,
like
you're,
a dunce
Mardi Gras
cap.
is all about expressing yourself.
Yeah.
And New Year's is all about
And
pledging
this
fealty.
is it. Yeah, this is it. You know, and then
What
and,
fealty to Father Time? Just
that's
like
right. That's right. That's right.
starting over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do feel. I mean, we can't focus on New Year's too long because people are like, "This is 14 days ago."
I know.
But I
Right,
will
right,
say,
right.
I do. It's the same way I feel with
You
birthdays.
should be like, the way everyone dresses up for MLK Day.
Yeah.
I'm done with it.
Listen, you should see the way he dresses up. A lot of
Yeah.
makeup.
Like, can we stop talking about Selma?
I don't like the pressure of like New Year.
Yes.
It's a restart, especially because I'm working tonight.
I know the resolutions too.
Resolutions.
Oh,
I gave
you
up on
know?
resolutions a long time ago.
Oh,
You
what
do
are
resolutions? What are yours?
yours? It's gotten more and more like
Ethereal.
yeah, more and more ethereal, more and more like what's her name? She's the author who came out as the lesbian, very like Elizabeth Gilbert vibes, but she has like I think she wrote
I mean, if we're
Untamed, Glennon Doyle.
okay.
It's very like Glennon Doyle. Like now my resolution is just like listen to yourself more, girl.
Oh, okay.
You know, it's
Okay.
just like
Yeah,
and that I can just be really like yeah, I did that.
Yeah.
Sure. Sure. I get that.
Yeah, I can't decide if I want like something like that that's kind of like that or if I'm very, very specific. You know?
Yeah, if I were to force myself, the one that I've been thinking about more in general is like I need to figure out community amidst the chaos, but of my current life.
Yes.
But I'm taking no steps to do that other than getting a second podcast co-host. I'd be like, I need a second friend. Better have two co-hosts on the podcast.
Well, can I tell you, my mom is really smart about things, and later I'm thankful for her. But she says you have different friends for different things.
Definitely.
Like maybe you got to find like your theater friend, and then you find
100%.
like, your like friend that you go on walks with.
I 100%
you know, and, like,
agree that
yeah.
you have
But
different.
it's so I just think it's so hard to start a new friendship. Everyone's so busy. I mean, especially, I don't know if it was different in 20s. I was never social period, but 30s is like, I'll call him out. Josh Sharp.
Yeah.
We talked and we get along. We get along.
Yeah.
And so I messaged him. I said I texted him. I said let's hang out. And he said I'd love to hang out. So then he saw Tova, my girlfriend, at a party. Tova says hi, by the way.
Oh, hi, Tova.
And Tova said he said to Tova I know I owe Gianmarco a call. And Tova said that to me, and I said okay. 0 points on my end.
Yeah.
He told you. So, but then he sent me all these voice memos. We were talking about Audrey McDonald and Gypsy and theater. All these voicemails, and I thought for a second, and he goes we're gonna make. Bottom line, no plans were made, and I did the full on.
You're trying. You're both trying.
Yes. And again, I don't think he means ill at all.
No.
But it's just like a thing of I understand it's like we have 5 free days and then the year starts.
Yeah.
And he's hanging out with
his
know,
friends.
people with SNL credits. It's gonna be tough for me to break in there.
Yeah. Poor little Netflix boy.
So all it is to say it's like I think it was but when you said the theater person, it was like Josh was like someone where suddenly we were talking about Broadway in a way that I'm like getting back into.
That's
very
exciting.
a little bit.
And you know what? I've seen that from afar.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
It's been I've been like noticing like I think Gianmarco is like touching something inside of himself. Like Gianmarco's like being brave about like exploring his theater. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's well Russell's one who was in Titanic, and suddenly it honestly feels like Russell, me just following going to your show and like the people you started being with brought me back in my own way.
Yeah, I feel though that like I understand it feels still though like sometimes I'll feel like I'm in it, and then other times, like when I'm not doing a show, I'm like, oh, am I still in this thing, this world, because it does get confusing, because then you make friends and theater friends, and then you're like, oh, these are my friends that blah, blah, blah. And then you're like, when you're not doing it, you're like, wait, but I don't see them as much. And are we real friends, or are we just theater friends? Do you know what I mean?
Do you feel like because you're doing like your show, you're at Studio 54.
Yes.
Do you feel like you're in the theater community, the comedy community, the Broadway community? Is that different?
Yeah,
Like what would you say?
I was actually just gesticulating about my communities yesterday. There's the comedy community, there's my theater community, and then there's like the trans community that I'm a part of.
Oh, yeah.
And the theater community that I'm a part of is like, so I as we mentioned before the cameras began rolling, I am a BFA. I majored in musical theater at the University of Michigan. Go Blue.
Which, just so people know, when I was auditioning, it was like the good ones.
That was the good one.
Carnegie, Michigan, Juilliard.
And CMU is Carnegie.
Yeah, Carnegie Mellon. Yeah.
Carnegie Mellon. Yeah.
And those are people that are still in my life, and it's like we'll go to each other's weddings. I've been to a few of those weddings, but also they like. There was sort of like a hard reset I did on my life when I turned 29 and began transitioning. And it was like suddenly all my friends were 24 and 25-year-olds. And
just because they transitioned earlier, and you're saying that was...
It's also when I started stand-up. So it was like the year that I wish that I had when I was 24, I like finally had when I was 30 or whatever.
Yeah,
right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, here are all my peers. They all have amazing skin, and we like, and my friends are like the people that were my friends up to that point, and are still my friends. But like, they're getting married, they're like buying houses and things like that.
Yeah.
And I was like in my 20s, being like, "What is going on? What do I do?" And finally figured it out at the same time as these 24, 25-year-olds.
I relate. When I was 29, that's when I started. Met you, and we were doing that terrible off-Broadway show. But
you believe starting sketch comedy is akin to transition?
Yeah,
no, but I'm saying like getting into the comedy world, like being like searching for a community. I was doing a lot of theater.
His parents disapproved of it.
yeah, exactly.
But I was doing a lot of theater
in the country where you really can't be a sketch comedian.
No, I was speaking more to the community of the comedy community. That's so funny.
Yeah.
This is the downside.
The Downside
The Downside.
with Gianmarco Soresi.
Oh yeah, yeah. Sometimes people don't put on headphones and then they go.
And then they're like,
they look at.
We just
stopped
stop talking. We just like go dead eyed.
Welcome to The Downside. Our intros have been getting longer, which I'm fine with. But sometimes,
Yeah.
sometimes I'm
Let's
like,
see how far we can stretch it. Yeah.
We get to the end, we do double in a row.
Yeah.
This is, as I said before, place to get negative, place to complain. If you enjoy the show, join the Patreon, patreon.com/downside. We've been growing. We do 2 bonus episodes every month, me and Russell, and lots of bonuses. And we're going on tour, so check out all those ticket sales. Tour. Esther, I'm so happy to have you. I first learned about you because Tova sent me this clip that I just thought was so. When I said Lucas was just thinking about her,
he's still thinking about that.
Thinking about her.
Thinking about that
What kind of
gal.
sketch can I make out of her pain?
Right.
All right. It was this joke that I thought was so funny.
Sometimes I get sad. I'm like, I wish that I transitioned earlier. But then it's like, if I transitioned earlier, I wouldn't have gotten all of the leads in my high school theater program. Everyone talks about trans kids in sports. But no one is talking about the closeted trans women cleaning up.
It was just such a good joke.
That is so funny.
Thank you.
It was, but it's also like to me, it's the. And we had a comedian, Grace Ryder, on the last episode, and it's just like, for me, it's comedy revealing, just being like selfish or showing like a thing of like, I got this, as opposed to any form of preachy. It feels, dark, edgy, whatever word you want to use to it.
Yeah.
But it's like taking the thing and truly twisting it in a way that I'd never heard before. So it's just so funny.
Yeah.
And I just love that joke so much. And that's,
Thank you.
generally all your stuff. And we've been doing a new habit where I have guests on where I will smoke up their ass for a second.
Yeah.
And then we get
Yeah,
into
yeah. This is my favorite section of the show.
What did you play in high school?
Was it all those
Okay.
roles?
No.
Oh, I thought it was that like full slate, like
Oh,
Shrek,
God.
Music Man.
Sweeney
that
Todd
would've been-
and
yeah.
well,
I did play Harold Hill, but that was in 8th grade.
I did
Okay.
Harold Hill in 8th grade too.
No way.
Oh my
okay,
God! All right, wait,
sisters.
can we see how far we can get in
Okay.
Well, you got trouble, my friend. Right here, I said trouble right here in River City. Why, sure, I'm a billion place, certainly mighty proud to say I'm always mighty proud to say it. I consider that the hours I spend with a cue in my hand are golden. I've found a horse sense and a cool head and a keen eye. Now, friends, let me tell you what I mean. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pockets at a table. Pockets that mark the difference between a gentleman and a bum with a capital B and that rhymes with P and that stands for pool. Now, I know you folks are the right kind of parents, so I'm going to be perfectly frank. Would you like to know what kind of conversation goes on while loving around that hall? They've been talking about G-Bubs, talking about Qs, talking about tailor-mades like cigarette fiends, and bragging all about how they're going to cover up a telltale sound with sense. And one fine night, they leave the pool hall, headed for the dance of the army.
I'm like, wait, sorry. At what point are you going to have to pay the Meredith Wilson estate?
Pick a little, talk a little, pick a little, talk a little. That's all I know.
8th grade.
Wow.
8th grade.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's so
that
cool.
was like, I was really talented.
Yeah.
You were as well, it sounds like.
I just know when I got that role, that was truly, I remember singing 76 trombones and just feeling like the popular kid for that one moment. And like just that feeling of I felt confident, and it was just everything to me.
Yes.
Yeah.
For me, it was like, I just felt so like free on stage. Like, I feel like this is getting so cliche, but it's like, I just felt like I could do things with my body that I was rather inhibited. But when I was on stage, I could make these huge choices. I just felt so like my body felt so good. I could move,
Yeah.
Do you think that's why I had a friend who I went to college with named Rob Nanas, and this is back when theater kids were all like pontificating at night. But he was talking about like why he thought queerness in theater kind of, and it was that kind of essentially. It was like it was a moment of. It's kind of crazy to think about how truly it was like you did sports, you did theater, or you did maybe debate, but like these really were the lanes.
Yeah.
Like you wonder if they had comedy, like would that be a thing? This is just like a very American. There's other forms of theater we could have done. I don't know. In Italy, do they do mask work? Like
Clowning?
You're a clown.
Yeah.
Kabuki,
And I wonder what.
Kabuki?
Yeah.
not in Italy. I was just naming another type.
That'd be.
What if I don't know?
um.
I've thought about this because one of my identities is comedian, and I think that I played a lot of comedic roles in high school, and it was like the roles that I always did best at were the ones where I was like able to talk to the audience. Like
Yeah.
I played Pseudolis in Funny Thing Happened
Great
Away at the
role.
Forum.
Sure.
So much fun.
Oh, I want to do it. Yeah.
Oh God, you would be
Yeah.
amazing. I played the Cowardly Lion.
Definitely.
I played Barnum in Barnum. Do you know?
Yeah, I know.
It's
I've
like-
heard of the show. Don't know it. But yeah.
It's basically The Greatest Showman, except less sleigh.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Can I speak of Pseudolis? Because I was just thinking particularly Pseudolis. It's a role that's been played by Nathan Lane or
Yes.
Whoopi Goldberg.
Yes.
Do you feel like if you were to play Pseudolis now,
Yeah.
like do you think it would be a different expression of it, or do you think when you played Pseudolis that was a moment of being?
Yeah.
Or maybe
No,
these
that's
maybe
such a
these
good.
yeah maybe, but sometimes I'm like, are these questions just like
No.
yeah you
I
who
think
knows?
about this stuff all the time, and my solo show is kind of about this. It's about like transness and musical theater, and
Yeah.
like I got this BFA, and I was taught all of these skills, all these tools for a different person.
Totally.
So it's
Yeah.
like we probably went out for some of the same things. Like the two Broadway callbacks that I ever had were Olaf and Elder Cunningham.
Oh yeah.
So
Elder
it was
Cunningham,
like
yeah.
Yeah, right.
Oh, man.
So it was like
I wanted it so bad.
Yeah.
And then it's so sad that I never got to do it because I'm too old now. But I was like, oh man, I was too young when I went in. Like it was like my first year living in New York. I was way too
green.
I just
Yeah.
didn't. But I had 2 callbacks for it. But yeah, it didn't go anywhere.
yeah
It was a
you'd be
miracle
so
that I
good.
even got. I don't even know if I was equity at the time. Like it was like before my
yeah?
equity. I don't
Wow.
even know how. Like I
Oh my
really lucked
God.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang.
Were you really upset when you did you like vision? You saw like, oh my god.
You're like, here comes my stardom.
I had to fly back for the second callback because I had started a contract in the Midwest, like just a
wow.
a non-equity theater gig.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I have to go back for like this second callback for Book of Mormon, But it was I think it was for the production. I think it was like the second year. So I think it wasn't for Broadway. It was for the production that was going to be in Chicago. I think Ben Platt ended up getting it.
That's right.
And I was
Yes.
like,
Oh my
Yes.
God.
That's right.
So yeah, it was never
Ben
probably
Platt
gonna,
beat
Oh my God.
But I
You
also
could have been
remember
Evan Hansen.
I also remember that now I know the casting director really well because she did Gutenberg and a couple other things. But I remember her at the time like being like basically like I like left the room and I was like, oh no, they were like worried for me. They were like, yeah, he is kind of like on the spectrum, but like like it was like too real. Like they're like,
Oh my
we
God.
can't feel like sad and bad for him.
Wait,
like
I have to tell
being
you, I
like,
got the same note with my callback.
Yeah.
I also went too,
too
mentally
real,
ill, like
too
too
like okay, but
yeah,
it has to be
that's-
fun.
I
you
went
know,
to
like,
Steve Brule.
Yeah,
I went to Steve
yeah,
Brule.
yeah.
And they were
So,
like, that's funny. I see what you're going for.
yeah,
Let's keep it a little more
yeah.
like,
Oh my god.
yeah.
So you go to Michigan.
yes. So
I mean, go.
well, so I got all these tools for this different person, and now it's about like how do I reconcile who I actually am with my toolbox. So it's like one way I put it recently is like I feel like I'm like Bernadette Peters by way of Nathan Lane,
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
you know,
Uh-huh.
and it's like, and what's fun about it is like. To flatter myself a little, I feel like I'm a whole new type of musical theater performer.
Sure.
I feel like
Totally.
that's the thing about like there's a crop of trans friend musical theater performers of mine that like I feel like I've never seen anyone like any of them, you know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think that if any Broadway producers listening wanted to give us $10 million, like you could find that out too.
Yeah.
Do you see yourself like you want to like plug yourself into the existing Broadway system, or do you enjoy now creating your own path?
I am loving creating my own path. I will say when I think about what my like perfect level of fame is, I think about I would love to be famous enough that they revive a show and part of the selling point is that I'm starring.
Yeah.
Like they're like, oh my
Sure.
God, they're doing Funny Thing and Esther Fallick is pseudoless. Oh, we have to go.
Yeah.
You know, that's
What would be the dream role? I just saw Gypsy with Audra. Was that on it?
oh, that would be. I mean, was that on it?
No, was that like
is
on the
that-
list of like would that be one?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But that I've got to age into her.
Sure.
But I think, well, again, it's like here I am with my. I would love to play Maxine Bialystok. That's the dream. That's the dream.
Yeah.
People are just like, sure, and that is a beautiful woman playing Max Bialystok.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So where did you grow up?
Houston, Texas.
Houston, Texas. Where you went to
That's where I went to grad school.
grad school?
Oh,
Yeah.
U of H or Rice?
Yeah, U of H.
U of H.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
For theater?
I got MFA in acting.
Oh,
It was like
amazing.
it was like the first year that they had like a proper program.
Yeah.
So and it was like a partnership with Allie down there and stuff like that. Yeah. So
yeah.
And were you always a theater kid from the beginning?
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah?
yeah. Since 8 or 9 years old. Yeah.
9 years old. And was there any competition at the school? Or were you just the king or queen?
I was. I was the king or queen.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was kind of what I was figuring out. But yeah, I was like, I got. There was like one of my good friends, and he still does theater now, and he's a cis gay man, and we always connected because we were like, there's something happening. We're not normal.
Sure,
You
sure.
know? Yeah.
Did he come out during high school?
He came out during high school.
Okay,
Yes.
interesting.
Actually, he came out during middle school, and I did too.
Wow.
As bisexual.
In
And
middle school?
In middle
Yeah,
school?
Yeah, because I was like, something is happening. I know I'm not like other people. Maybe I'm gay. But I was like, no, but I like women. So maybe I'm bi. And then I had a bunch of sexual experiences with men, I guess with boys.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know?
Sure.
Like,
Yeah.
and then was kind of like, I don't think this is it.
Yeah.
Which is one of the confusing things about being a trans lesbian.
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
That's so like I just and again I'm not that much older, but I guess 7 years old. You're 29.
No, I'm 33.
Are you 33?
Yeah.
Oh, we're similar age.
Yeah.
The idea I do not feel like being bisexuality was a thing in middle school that was even conceived of. I remember kids in my high school, which was very, I think, a very progressive high school.
Yeah.
Where we had, we had a lot of teachers who were openly gay, but I don't think any of this. There were some students who very clearly.
Sure.
But it's
Yeah.
still no one was, and I don't know what it's like 3 years after. Was it a little bit more open?
Yeah.
I don't know. But like, were kids in middle school, were they like, oh, cool, you're bi?
It was like the theater kids, like my
Sure.
my theater clique, like my theater clique. We like we were all like, so like y'all are like a little gay, right? Like we
Yeah.
kind of like the late nights after the shows at the friend's house.
Sure.
We called it like our version of that game, whatever the like game where middle schoolers start being honest with each other about their deepest, darkest feelings. We called it like.
What's that
like-
game?
Oh my God.
I mean, we called it like getting real or something like that, or like should we play 100% or something like that? I forget what it was called, but it was
And
like
you would just.
You just
it was
say-
a game, and you just go around. You're like, let's do that game where we
Yeah.
share who we really
share
are
our
as
deepest,
human
darkest-
beings.
Yeah, you guys didn't have one of these.
No.
Okay,
We
well,
did
this is
never
where
have
I
I
should have
ever.
known. This is where I should have known I was a woman.
Okay.
You know what
Okay,
I mean? I was
sure.
always like pulling my boyfriends' feelings out of them. You know, I was
Yeah.
like, be real. Like, let's
Let's be real.
let's be real.
Let's be real.
You know?
I love that. That's something we should do.
We should
as
do.
adults.
Yeah, that should be a segment
We should
on your
do
podcast.
next time we do Shrooms Weekend. Like, let's be real. Yeah.
We did that. We so
that
me,
sounds
me,
fun.
Russell, and two other guys from our sketch team.
Yeah.
We do. I hope is an annual weekend thing.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's a natural. Well, we don't have to necessarily sit down and go like, let's be real. But there's
No.
a natural like fun. Next day, fun in the morning, and then there's
Yes.
some time after lunch, maybe after dinner, second day where it's just like, yeah, I'm really sad about this thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're all
Yeah.
we're all
Yeah.
like we're all theater enough certainly to be like, tell us, bro.
Tell us.
We're
Let's
all
go.
gonna be
Let's
serious
go.
now.
Let's-
That's so beautiful.
We're
Yeah.
gonna
That's
curb the
beautiful.
joke in for a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just a little.
Yeah.
And then joke about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Aftercare.
Yeah.
Aftercare.
Yeah.
That's aftercare.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
So then high school, same as middle school or different high school?
Different high school,
Okay.
but like same friends. And then I kind of like went a little back in the closet.
What did that look like?
Like from bi to
From bi to straight.
straight again.
Because you found you
'Cause I
were
just-
with some guys and then said no.
Yeah.
I'm not
So I
into
guess it
that.
wasn't even back in the closet. It was just like further realizing that I'm not into. It was just like.
Did you have to do a like, hey, let's be real again, real quick? Update on the realness.
Yeah. Update on the realness.
Yeah.
I love pussy.
Yeah.
Did it feel embarrassing, or was it just like?
No, because it was just like confusing. I was like, I guess it's not that. And I think that if I was that age now and, north of the Mason-Dixon line or whatever,
Uh-huh.
like I might have continued my exploration and figured out that I was a woman.
Yeah.
But that was not something I could conceive of even then. Like I
Yeah,
knew
yeah.
that I was really, because I knew that I like loved singing Today for You. I
Uh-huh.
knew that I loved singing Hedwig's songs.
But
from
can I
Hedwig
just
and
say
Hedwig.
real quick though, not to counter your experience. Me too. Both those songs.
Well-
Hedwig to me, there's something about it.
Yeah.
Speaks. Look at me. I mean, there's something that like there's some. I'm saying like even that doesn't necessarily reveal what the path is.
It does absolutely.
And that's what can be so. I just feel like that's what's so confusing about like. I don't know. I don't have an answer to it. It's
Well-
just like, how could you tell? It might seem simple in retrospect. I feel like.
Right.
Did you ever think? Do you ever feel consumed with like, if I had known then this, or are you at peace
yeah.
with like?
It's like I have to. Well, when I feel that way is when I look at Hunter Schafer. I'm like, God, if I would have known then. If I would have known then. And like sometimes I get like voice dysphoria because I don't really voice train like some other girls, like
What does voice training entail?
I don't even really exactly know, but it's just like feminizing your voice, like making like having it be a little higher or, because when you go through testosterone puberty, whether it's your first or your second puberty, your larynx lowers and your vocal cords thicken, so your voice changes.
Yeah.
Estrogen puberty does not do anything to your voice, nor does it reverse.
Sure.
So it's like that's why trans men have, trans masc people who do testosterone might have more like masculine sounding voices, but trans women don't necessarily have more feminine sounding voices. It's like you have to put in the work.
But even if you put in the work, like it's still gonna be thicker vocal cords.
Yeah.
Period. Right.
Yes.
Is that something you're like, I don't want to do that?
It's like, again, it's tough because my voice is also so tied to my expression. Like,
Yeah, of
as
course.
a
Singing
singer,
as a singer, yeah.
like, and there are certain songs that I sing that I'm like, yeah, this is what it sounds like when a trans woman sings this song, and that is unique and cool, But when I'm talking to my Uber driver or something like that, or like, in service, talking to like, waiters or something like that, then it's like, that's when I get misgendered, because I'm just like, hey, yeah, I'm Esther, what's up?
Yeah.
So it's like, but it's, I don't know, but it's like, you have to kind of like, there's so many parts to transition
Sure.
that like you really have to figure out like what you want to focus on. And for me, for a long time, it was about like social transition and like aligning my identity with my expression, right? Like
Yes.
I feel like I didn't really start stand up till after I started transitioning because like I finally knew kind of what I wanted to say.
Yeah.
And I now like when I watch myself on stage, I'm like, especially when I watch myself singing, I'm like, there she is.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm able to like really And I put time into makeup, and I put time into like, I don't know. I like got my surgeries out of the way, but I like haven't done the voice stuff, and I'm like insecure about like fashion stuff and style. You know,
Sure.
there's so many.
Of course.
It's gender is everywhere. That's why
Yeah.
The Matrix is the gender movie, because we're all walking through it all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's such a unique thing too, as a performer who's tied to like your role as a performer, as an artist, and it's like I didn't even think of it till years and years and years ago. I met an older actor who had started transitioning and then stopped because they were terrified of not getting work.
Yeah.
And that's like something that I had never even thought of.
Yeah.
At that point of like, oh my God, like, like
Yeah.
that's like, if people are so, and you know, and especially if someone's grown up in a world and we're like there's was such a fear from them that I was like, oh man, that is brutal. Like not even, it was the first time I was like, oh, holy shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
Well, sometimes
real
it feels
thing.
so. Again, I've left theater,
Yeah.
so I no longer am beholden to it, and so it's easy to look at it and go, "Look at this, guys! This is a steaming pile of shit." This is, but I think so much about we had a friend who was an acting teacher, and it was certainly a time where like. Per your point, some people were realizing, you know, maybe they were trans in college, or they were realizing, or they identified a different way, or they and our friend struggled, I think, sometimes to know how to give career advice versus like artist advice. And sometimes when I feel sympathy sometimes with the acting teachers who probably said things that like sound like
my God.
awful or
Yeah.
you know
Right.
big or small,
Yeah.
even as little as either lose some weight or gain some weight. Like
Oy.
Yeah.
I go not that should have been done, but I go, if they're talking about the rigid world of Broadway and play, I mean, talk
Yeah.
about
They
Hunter
didn't make
Schafer.
that world.
Talk
Yeah,
about Hunter Schafer. I mean,
exactly.
Yeah.
Hunter Schafer's
Yeah.
is a stunning. I mean,
Oh, my
Hunter Schafer's
God,
got,
yeah.
and at this point, Hunter Schafer probably got every financial support you could to
Yeah.
maintain
Yes.
everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
yes.
so it's just like I almost feel bad for the teachers in terms of maybe the kids look at Broadway and I go like, Broadway is as commercial as it fucking gets. It's as restricted. It's so hard.
Yes.
And better if you want to be an artist, do the cabaret, do the one person thing, produce the own thing,
Yes,
because it's
yes.
hard to fit in this.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, they kind of like Broadway makes these like gestures at sort of like a
Yeah.
body diversity
Yeah.
thing, but like
Yeah.
it is really bleak. It's
Yeah.
like
And it always swings back.
Well,
It
we always say. I mean, I didn't see the new revival, and I haven't even looked at the thing. But I always think of like the one revival of Cabaret, and I was like, like I can't like these perfect bodied
Yeah.
people, every single one of them. I was like, get me some ugly people
Yeah.
right now on that
Yes.
stage, skinny, fat, ugly, everything. Where I'm like, that's someone I believe would be working at this fucking
Yes.
place.
Yes.
And again, I'm not talking about the current revival. I actually have no idea. But I the one 10 years ago,
There
I
was a
like,
lot of uggos in the
Oh,
current
good.
revival.
yeah,
good,
yeah, yeah. This
good.
is
Okay,
people.
good.
People have
Good.
said this is the ugliest cast of cabaret ever. So that's really cool.
No, but in general, I want to see uglier people on. Like,
Yeah.
I do think that it's a thing where I sometimes I'm like, I can't tell any of these people apart on stage because they're all
Yeah.
beautiful in the same way, even if it's like technically like diverse or they'll pat themselves on the back. But I'm like, they all look like the standard of beauty
Yes.
is kind of all at the same level.
Yeah, sometimes it feels like it's like we will have. Oh, I mean, I had this. I had a TikTok the other day that. Well, I thought I was funny, so I'll share it now.
Yeah.
I was like, "This is my impression of Broadway. I don't care if you're black, brown, purple, whatever. We'll accept anyone who has an eating disorder."
That's so good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
One of the reasons I like your comedy, it's just like it has like a cynicism to it that I think like if I had stayed in theater, I would have rubbed people the wrong way or I would have gone crazy.
Yeah.
Because
Yes,
there is
yes.
such a kind of, I would consider it a, I know this word gets thrown around too much, but like a fascistic positivism, like just a constant, like everything's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
And we all should be
Yes.
happy.
Yeah.
And like, you just gotta be,
Yes.
and I go,
Yeah.
this version
Yeah.
of looking on the bright side. I mean, this is kind of my thesis to life: is that
Yeah.
it really is actually just a masking of the inequalities and the powers that be. And whether it's the cast of Broadway singing Les Mis to raise money for the IDF, like I just go like
that video was chilling.
I mean, but
Chilling.
that's it's a level of insanity
Yeah.
to literally be I mean, Adam McKay kind of got made fun of for talking about how political Wicked was, and he did the thing you just have to let it be.
Yeah.
But it's true.
I know. That's the
true.
thing. It's like, I do think it was a very silly comment of Adam McKay's, but I'm like, he's making really interesting points.
The idea, let me tell you, the rebel being labeled as a terrorist using a makeshift flying device, that's not Israel.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, of course.
No.
So-
I saw that movie, like, I've seen that movie 6 times now, actually.
Wow.
That's the most I've ever seen a movie in a theater.
I truly thought it was so good because I did, which for me is a lot. I considered seeing it a second time, which is a lot for
you.
me.
Yeah,
In theaters.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Well, my thing is, you know, I recently got bottom surgery and I've been in recovery, and it came out at the perfect time for it was like an outing that I could do. I could like see friends and be like, "Hey, let's go see Wicked together," and I would get out of the house. But I just had to sit there for 3 hours.
Yeah.
And I had my little donut that I sat on, you know,
Yeah.
my donut pillow, and like, so, and I also was very moved by it. So I was like, well, I'll go do this 6 times.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also feel like seeing anything emotional before or after a surgery, like your heart is just. I saw falsettos the day before I had a para-umbilical hernia repair surgery.
Gender affirming repair.
Yeah.
I was doing CrossFit to be gender affirming.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
And that's what led to the injury. And I just remember, like, I told Tova the other day when I was seeing that show, I was like, if you die tomorrow,
You saw falsettos.
You saw falsettos,
Oh,
and
bro,
I'm watching
the
him sing.
revival.
There's a song called "You Gotta Die Sometime." I'm just like, oh my god, yeah,
Yeah,
Ain't
you
that
do.
the truth?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's so beautiful.
The surgery. Were you anxious? I mean, it's such. I doing
Yeah.
that one surgery. Honestly, I think the second one will be scarier than the first because I know how daunting it is.
Wait, what?
The fact that I did one surgery, I like know what it entails.
I was like, there's not a second one.
Oh.
It's done.
No, the one, the
It's a
go
one
back,
part.
the,
Yeah,
like,
right, yeah.
the whoops,
Well, yeah,
my bad.
exactly. Yeah, like when Trump gets elected for his 3rd term.
Oh my God.
Yeah. No, that I did have that thought when Trump won. I was like, well, no detransitioning now.
You timed it.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, what was the surgery?
It
Inaugurate
was September 10th.
September 10th.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
so it was just a couple months before. September
Did
9th
you
is
check
my
the
birthday.
polls right
September 10th
before?
is my birth
You're like,
canal
these
day.
polls, how are they looking?
I knew. I didn't
You
have
knew?
to check. I was like,
You know.
yeah, deep inside.
Had you had any surgery before that?
Yeah, I got FFS, which is facial feminization surgery, which is
Okay.
like one of the other surgeries that girls get, you know. There's all these things that you can do to your face that like feminize it, like because one of the things testosterone puberty also does is like it changes your bone structure a little bit.
Uh-huh.
So compared to the video actually that we showed a second ago, I got a brow shave.
Mm-hmm.
And like a nose job. And the nose job is like it's like, well, is she trans or is she Jewish, right? It was kind of a rite of passage. But there's, you know, some girls like shave their jaw down a little, maybe they get like cheek fillers, things like that, but I just kept it pretty simple.
And
So I had done
FFS
that.
just refers to like the general slate of procedures for the face. So
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. So there's FFS, which is that, and then there's FMS, facial masculinization surgery, which is what John Mulaney's done.
Really? You
Is
think
that
so?
true?
You didn't hear it from me.
Wow.
I think so.
Breaking news.
Look at
He
his
looks fantastic. Just putting it out
Right?
there. The jaw is unreal.
FMS.
Wow.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
would I do? What would look differently about like it's a jaw? Is it more jaw
More
related?
jaw? More jaw?
Jaw related. Well, that's the only one I know. I guess I haven't really looked into FMS. But
Well, now
you-
I'm like, how many people like? Okay,
it's everywhere.
Kumail.
Oh, probably.
There's just sometimes people get really fit, and I go,
Does your face
what
get
moved?
wider when you?
Yeah,
work
what
out?
made your face
Something
wider?
happened. Yeah, and it's like not just about the body. It's like
Matt Rife.
Oh, definitely.
Definitely,
That is-
like no question.
That's a no question. He got surgery. if you ask me.
Interesting.
Yeah, this is the sort of
Should we live in a world where people are more public about their surgery?
okay. So this has to stop. Actually,
Go for it.
Okay,
Do it
great.
now.
Let's do it.
This has to stop. Anyone saying anything except for awesome about people's surgeries.
Sure.
I think quote unquote cosmetic surgeries, because
Yeah.
even quote unquote cosmetic surgeries like change your life. And I do think that it's tied to, I'll say it, boys, misogyny.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because, it's one of those things where it's like gossip gets stigmatized, but that's a tool for women. It's a whisper network, right? And instead people are like, oh, like gossip, you shouldn't do that. That actually means you're a bad person if you gossip. It's like, oh, okay, so I'll just date the rapist then
Yeah.
instead.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I feel like plastic surgery is a way. I didn't make the world the way that it is. And getting plastic surgery, I'll give it to the haters here, like when it's not botched.
Sure.
When it's not botched, like plastic surgery makes it easier to go through the world. People treat you better,
Absolutely.
Definitely.
and you get those things. And so I'm just like, all
But your
that
point
we
is that no one, that if you see someone who's gotten plastic surgery, this has got to stop is people going like, oh, they got plastic surgery.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I think
Yeah.
one previous wave of feminism ago was like you're getting plastic surgery like for the patriarchy, and now it's
I
like
see.
I think it should be like you're getting plastic surgery like slay girl, like do what you need to do to get through, and also who's your doctor? You look amazing.
Sure.
Yeah.
So here's my bitchy question
Yeah.
is when it's bad. When it's
Yes.
like when
Yes.
you see someone, and again, I'm not going on publicly, but I'm saying like my friend Russell, I might go like, oh my god.
Here's
fuck.
the
Yeah.
So who's that
here's-
doctor?
here's-
Let's go.
Okay, here's where I noticed that I get maybe like judgmental or something.
Yeah.
If I'm watching something and I'm like, that actor can no longer do certain things,
Right.
because of a surgery.
Yes.
Like their face can't do certain emotion, or
Yeah.
and it's distracting watching a story.
Yeah.
That's when I notice it, and where I start being like, ooh, I shouldn't think this about blah blah blah, but it's actually distracting me from the
Sure.
story being told, because I'm like, well, this is the 1800s, and that's, you know what I mean, like that's
That's a fair point.
Yeah.
That's where I'm like, I feel bad, because I'm like, yes, I 100% agree.
Yeah.
The world is so hard. You should be able to do
Yeah.
whatever you want to do. And we talked about that concern trolling thing on this podcast once, and I agree.
Where
that
people like
there's-
go like, I'm just worried about
and you're
that.
not.
And it's like,
You're not actually
you're
worried.
not
You're
just
being
worried.
just
Just
a shit.
into it.
And
Exactly.
I get
Totally,
it.
totally.
Like I'm like, yeah, but
But I also think it's crazy to be like I remember Madonna like did the VMAs or something, and it was clearly like shortly after surgery, so her face looked extremely puffy. It looked like, if you didn't know it was a puffy post-surgery thing, it looked like it was a very rough surgery job. And I do think it's a fool's errand to like be like, hey world, don't notice.
Well, it's
what
not don't notice.
Sure. It's just if I came out and I had an eye patch on one of my, people are going to say, hey, you noticed that eye patch? It is something
Right.
that is seen.
Well, it is a choice that you've made. It's like wearing a swan dress or whatever,
Yeah.
right? It's like wearing.
yeah.
It's like
and you might say, that swan dress looks hideous.
yeah, or you might say, look, the world is hard. Sometimes you have to
the
wear a
world's
swan
hard.
dress to
Yeah.
get through.
And also, people are so weird about that swan dress for Bjork. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you think it would be nice? For example, I didn't know that thing about Mulaney, or
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like in general, people don't talk about men getting their
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
was it called again?
Well, I mean,
FMS.
FMS. I don't know if that's what they call it, but like,
Do you think it would be there's a part of me that goes like, it would be better if that was known or discussed, or like, oh my God, he got this surgery.
Yeah.
Because then it goes back to the old, like, transphobic people, they get hair, they get all sorts of gender affirming
Yeah.
care.
Yeah.
That if we were more honest about the surgeries men got, especially, because it just feels like a lot of times.
Everyone's like cis people getting gender affirming care.
All
Yes.
the
Right.
all the
Yes.
hair,
And-
all
yes.
the hair stuff,
and hair,
all the hair
all the
stuff.
hair
but face,
stuff.
but like
Yes.
definitely face feels like more traditionally people would be surprised, or it's just
Yes.
like it's a bigger thing.
Yes.
And so there's part of me that goes like, I guess it's similar to when they would be like, well, should you out a celebrity because people should know that there's gay people in the world?
Well, you know what I think it's closer to is like Nepo, right? It's like, it's because right now, especially for, things, it's like, it's something that people can't afford, right? So it's like,
Yes.
Totally.
It's something that like rich people do, in that world, right? It's like, because also, mine was paid for by Medicaid, but like, it's something that rich people do to like get more jobs and look better on camera or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, that should be spoken about in a way where it's like, you don't have to feel bad about yourself. Like, that person's parent is actually just blah, blah, blah. So it's like, yes, they also have to do work. They also have to blah, blah, blah. But like, there's a class element here that is like also at play.
Yeah.
And I guess I also I want to be careful of like turning surgery into like, I think it should be democratized. I think free housing, free surgery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
Sure.
like, yeah. Look, I don't know.
Listen, I don't necessarily disagree. I don't know if the country's moving that.
No,
It sounds like we don't even have free, free getting COVID tests, free checkups, free heart scans. It doesn't feel like we're getting anywhere closer
Doesn't
towards
feel like-
more generosity.
Well, I mean, so I'll say this. It's like whenever for a while when I was talking to cis girls and I would tell them about that I wanted FFS and I was like getting, some of them would have this reaction where they would be like, I just feel like I want to like age gracefully, but I totally get it for trans women. And it's like unpacking that.
Yeah.
That I'm like, well, like why would there be some sort of like your aging is like more morally right than mine?
Sure.
You know, like where I need to. Why can't anyone then just like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think for me, the only hesitation that I've always had with surgery is just, and maybe it's because I saw it when I was younger, you just saw bad surgery more often. And I think I just have fear.
No, you just notice. You just notice bad
Exactly.
surgery.
Of course, but that's why I go.
Good surgery,
Well, we
you don't
need to
notice.
say more
Exactly.
often when people are getting these surgeries.
Yes.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
If everyone in if every guy
everyone
in
just
Hollywood,
wore-
this guy in Hollywood is getting this jaw thing, we should absolutely know because that should be part of the conversation about
Absolutely.
everything.
Yeah,
Yes.
everyone should just have a badge on them and say whether they got surgery
Yes,
or not. You know?
exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
They should have a little
Like
a
a
plastic
star.
star, like a
Star
little
that says,
deputy Woody,
I
like
got
a plastic star.
surgery.
Yeah.
With a big jaw.
Yeah, I agree. And you should have a number here that says where in line you were to get it. Yeah.
The number should be how much you paid.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Your apartment burned down 2 years ago.
Oh my God.
Let's talk about it. Yeah.
In New York?
How did you wait? Oh, wait.
My producer does research.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, now Paige does research.
Wow.
I still do some. I still do like 2 fucking podcast
Yeah.
episodes for every guest.
Yeah, I saw you like some of my old videos
Oh,
this
did I?
week. Yeah, and I was like, oh no.
One
But
thing I do think about comedians who have transitioned but had a full career before. I always think about, because I repost old videos all the time.
Yeah.
And I think like that's so.
it's tough.
By the way, and I don't think comedians do this because we have this weird codes that I do think are being broken, where I'm like, go to all your old material,
Yeah.
just re-record the I've transitioned
Yeah.
and these 80% of the jokes were not about, still make sense.
Yeah.
And I want the content and I wrote them and they're good.
Yes.
Just do it. Just from my mind, I go like, oh my God, you can't even share your Comedy Central 30. That sucks.
Yeah.
Or you can, of course.
Right.
Yeah.
But like,
Right.
I show a video where I don't have a beard. I get 10 comments that go,
Oh my God.
oh my
Yeah.
God.
Look
what,
how
what'd
much
you do?"
younger he
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
And I just can't imagine.
Yeah.
People
People
are
are like, he got FMS. I know it. Yeah.
Do you after surgery? Do you ever look at older videos and you go
yeah.
like, put it away?
Yeah. In fact, well, that video, I was like, damn, she was walking through the world with that face. And I know y'all can't really respond to that, I guess. You just have to be like, But that's what I feel when I watch it.
We both have partners. We know how to
Wait,
like. We're like,
so
what? Both.
so your apartment
gorgeous.
burned down. Your apartment burned down.
Yes, my apartment burned
in
down.
New York.
That's right.
Everything.
I'm currently in the midst of a lawsuit about it, so I may plead the fifth on some of the conversation about it.
Got it.
Is it your fault?
I'm pleading the fifth on the conversation about it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll
Did
move on.
what did you lose everything?
I lost everything.
Were you in the apartment when it was happening?
No, I was walking a friend to the bus. Like, because I was walking her to the train so that like she wouldn't have to walk alone because she's also a trans girl, and chivalry is not dead.
Yeah.
I was like, let me walk you. And on my way back, I got a call from my roommate being like, hey, there was like black smoke coming out of your room. So I called the fire department.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So then you come back. You run back.
I run back. And at that point, I can't even go in my room. I couldn't go in to save anything because I'll asphyxiate if I go in there.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. It touched like, there was some water damage because of the fire department, like in the kitchen and in the living room, but like, and some like smoke damage, but like, my roommate's room, completely untouched.
Wow.
My
oh my
room,
God.
all gone.
All gone.
All gone.
Were you allowed
Everything.
to look through the rubble for?
I looked through the rubble the next day. It was.
Oh my God.
Oh
I can't
my
imagine.
There were a
Gosh.
couple things I was able just one memento of like my father who had passed away.
Wow.
6 weeks earlier.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah.
So you did get the memento. When you
did get
found that
the
memento, was it
memento.
a moment of like, oh,
Yeah, it was a moment of like, thank God for that.
what was it?
It was the last one of the last in-person conversations I had with my dad. He was in the hospital and he couldn't talk, so he was writing. I was like, I would ask something and then he would respond by like writing it.
Really?
So yeah, and I was like, oh, I know that this is gonna be valuable to me, so I like held on to that. And in that, like it's actually very like the fire happened on like the day like after his first like posthumous birthday,
Oh my
Oh
God.
my God.
and then after the fire, like my whole life kind of turned around. Like I got my first ever like kind of corporate job, so I could finally support myself. I got a better living situation. I got like
Well, I mean, the bar was pretty low at that point.
at that point the bar was pretty low. Yeah,
It
yeah.
had a roof.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And like all this stuff. And then I had this dream about my dad where my mom brought my dad back to life. And me and all my siblings were mad at my mom. We were like, Mom, like, let him rest. Oh my God. And she was like, you're always mad when I make plans, but then you're happy that we go to them. So just enjoy it, you know?
Uh-huh.
And we have this conversation with my dad and he starts falling asleep. And it's like, okay, that means he's going to like die again.
Yeah.
And the only thing I remember that he said in the dream is as he's going back to sleep, and this is like a couple months after my life has like turned around, right? After the fire, he goes, oh, Esther, by the way, have you seen the strings I've been pulling for you? Have you noticed the gifts I've sent? And I was like, yeah, I have. And that was like the end of the dream.
Oh my
Isn't that
goodness.
cool?
It's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
God.
Yeah. Have you ever had a house fire or anything like that?
You know?
Not even just once
No.
a dorm room. I came out and someone had set something on fire, and we all ran. But that was it.
No
Nothing
fires.
close to that. I just can't
That's
imagine
crazy.
losing. What was
What was
you
the
lost
worst?
all your
thing?
clothes?
I lost all my clothes, and this was like, I don't know, like a year and some change into my transition. So it was like all this whole new wardrobe that I was building up
Yeah.
Uh huh.
Completely lost. And at this point, I was like also like $8,000.
What if that was
in
some of the
credit
strings
card
your
debt.
dad was playing? Like that outfit was not.
So this is actually what I think. I think he was like, okay, it's time to dress like an adult.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's like you need to dress a little better, babe.
Wow.
So I'm gonna burn down.
I wouldn't even know where to start. That's the thing too. Is you're like, what do you do? Day
With your
2.
clothes, you go to buy 10
No.
Hanes black shirts, one pair of jeans, and you're back to normal.
That's so true. Yeah. You know, one trip would be like $200. I'm like, okay, well, I'm all set, I guess. But no, I not just clothes though, eyes though. You know what I mean? Like
with everything.
with everything.
Like what do you
like
Yeah.
your all your stuff and your
I did
oh my god, all the props. All the
No,
props.
literally. You know what's really sad is I had this puppet. That I really loved. His name was Melvin, and it was like a Muppet whatnot. If y'all know what
A Muppet
I
what?
don't know what that is, but no.
Muppets
it
of
was
you.
like FAO Schwartz had this like Muppet. Are y'all like Muppet musical theater people?
No.
We had a conversation because I said,
He acted like
I'm not a
he's never,
Muppets.
He acted like he'd never seen any Muppet content. And I was like, that's
Because he's
crazy.
in his 50s.
That is crazy.
I'm 36.
I'm not in my. I'm in my 30s as well. I'm a few years older than you, and it's crazy to me that you've never heard of it. You've never even seen a Muppet thing.
Yeah, the Muppets are
That's
really good.
crazy.
I'm a big Muppet fan.
They've been
And
around
of
for
course there's-
decades.
What network were they on? PBS?
What do you mean? They're
Hi,
on every
caramba.
fucking thing. Okay.
PBS and then ABC. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. It's just like I didn't watch it at the right age, and I look at it now. I don't look at it like some things I do where I'm like, I don't get that. I just go.
Yeah.
I've gotten all the Kermit and Miss Piggy dynamic. I get it.
Yeah.
Look at you two
I'm like,
losers.
that's so real.
Yeah.
It is like that.
Yeah.
I like Fozzie. I like Fozzie Bear.
Why? What do you like about him?
He's a stand-up comedian.
Is
Yeah.
he really? Oh yeah. He is.
Yeah.
The fuck?
I forgot.
The blue nose
Waka
guy, the
waka.
Jewish one,
Oh yeah.
Gonzo.
Gonzo.
Yeah.
The two old
Gonzo.
people.
The two old
Like-
people.
Yeah.
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 Waldorf. Yeah, they're fun.
Yeah.
And my, excuse me, my I think I go back to, there's a couple like I go back to the Muppet movie in 1979 often. It's like for me it's like a text I return to when I'm feeling disenchanted by the industry. I'm like, why do I do this? And then I watch the Muppet movie in 1979. I'm
And
like,
you read it and you're
that's
like,
why.
waka waka.
Yeah, literally. No, but literally.
Do you have a piece of like if you're emotional or disenchanted or sad that you go to every time?
Oh. I don't think so. Not like a movie or.
For me, it's like it's falsettos for me. I mean, that's why.
Such a good.
And it was
yeah.
I just listened to it at some particular point in my life.
I'll have music stuff. Like if I'm like a Bowie for me, like creatively, like that kind of is inspiring to me. Like just if I'm feeling like I need some sort of like.
If shit really
hit
hits a
of
fan, I could see me
creativity.
going back to. I could see going back to The Office someday in my 60s.
Whoa. Okay,
and just being
so-
like, someone dies and I go, I got to watch The Office again.
Oh,
Can I tell
oh my
you-
God, I was thinking of like you wanted to work in an office. Okay, I was like, I could see myself like needing to be
Yeah,
like,
like,
I gotta
nothing
have-
makes me
I've
happier
had
than
no
working at
hardship
the
in my
office.
life. I could see.
Yeah.
I need to like. I need to be in an office setting to like experience some real people things. Yeah.
Well,
okay.
I was about to turn the conversation back because I was like, I want to talk about how like your like queer confusion throughout your life because I know everyone thinks you're gay and that's like a thing.
Yeah,
But then
yeah.
you said this thing about The Office and I'm like, oh no, you're straight. Like you're.
Yeah, I don't think
the
it's.
office gets bad
Sorry, I
rap,
thought that was
but
gonna
it
get a laugh.
is-
No,
But-
no.
okay, yeah.
No, for The Office, for us two straight guys,
I
this is
know,
a
I
serious
know.
topic.
It gets a bad rap, but
It does get a bad rap that is so unfair, and like no matter how far I get in life, I'm always gonna be like, "You guys are wrong." This is
You guys
the
are
first,
wrong.
The,
The
first
couple
four
of seasons
seasons
are so
brilliant.
good.
Okay,
comedies.
maybe I need to go. But you talk to me
Go
about.
back. Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't feel like I ever went through. Honestly, bisexuality was certainly not. There, when I went to musical theater camps, people were gay.
Yes,
But people didn't discuss
yes.
bi-ness in a way that is discussed today at all. And I
Yeah.
don't know if that had been on the table, if I would have like considered that more like, am I bi or am I not?
Right.
But ultimately, like my confusion was, it never felt like sexual for the most part. Like there was like some guys that I thought it was always a thing. If I saw a guy I was attracted to, it was this mix of like I wanted to be that guy. It wasn't like I want that guy to rail me or I want to rail that guy. I was like, I want to be that.
Yeah,
And like, you know, there's something sexual about that.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't know what you do with it.
There's a homoeroticism there for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
But like whenever there just wasn't that attraction, whenever there was like a guy close to me, it just wasn't, the energy wasn't there. So, and I just always wanted to, you know, make out with girls in high school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think
But it
was
is confusing when you're like a lot of the like so much there's so much overlap in terms of theater and other, you know, artistic things where you're like a lot of the queer comedy stuff too. I felt like as a kid really resonated with me, and that so you are like, well, you know, it's that kind of thing.
I think the bigger like not confusion, but like, oh, how does this work then? Is like in college, where I'd have like gay friends, and then sex and the pursuit of sex became more part of their life and their social life, and I wasn't joining them on that venture, and that was so much a core of life that then our friendship was more distanced, you know, and so. A terrible stand-up joke I had that never worked because people didn't know enough references was I was so excited when my gay friend told me they wanted to go to therapy together, and therapy was like a gay club, and it was like, and
that's funny.
But that's what it was to a degree where I mean that's why I bring up like Josh Sharp, where there's like as I get older I think it's a crass way to put it. I understand I'm not like looking for gay male friends, but I'm like, oh, this is something that there's some element here that my stand-up comedy being at the Cellar doesn't mix me in with, that I miss, that I had in college, that I had at summer camps, and just there's some version of that.
Yeah.
And so that's where the not confusion, but just like, oh, I don't know how to square this always. And I also like, I also get nervous that I push my luck a little bit, like. I want to do, you know, I visited Jay Jordan on Fire Island.
Amazing.
And like I want to do a show with Jay one night on Fire Island. But I'm also cognizant that a bunch of gay guys at a pool party where like the vibe is drugs and hooking up and having a good time.
Right.
And I'm there. There's a little bit of like, it's this person is not available but part of this thing,
right?
And B, is this person like visiting the look at this, look at this world, and I don't. But then I also go like, well, these divisions partly became. This is it's.
You end up feeling you end up feeling a little bit like an imposter everywhere you go.
An imposter everywhere you go.
You know, I feel,
I understand why separation. For example, there'd be an open mic and it's all women, or then it's all anyone identifies as a woman can go to this mic, and like you understand that partly, especially because comedy, because you go to these other mics and it's the most misogynistic, terrible guys there is, and like so I understand how a Fire Island became like a haven and a space, and then I go as someone who doesn't fit all the exact kind of gender interests of that I go, well, I think I'd have fun there, and I would have fun there.
Yeah.
So should I not go because some people might be annoyed or
right?
And I feel like that is always the struggle of inclusion and safe spaces. Like there always is a struggle between those two things.
Yeah.
Where sometimes it does feel like people need certain safe space, and then there's other times that I go, now it feels like it's exclusionary.
I feel like with I totally understand what you're talking about. I feel like I run into the problem sometimes of people thinking that like my shows, I've heard of people being like, oh, should I go to that? Like, is that like a trans like space?
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, like, please, like literally like the answer is not, I'm not going to give her my money. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like, cause I think that's when I'm like, wait, is some of this shit like CIA psyop? You know what I mean? It's no. Like, and I know that, like, for example, we were joking about the thing about transition being like a sketch comedian.
Yeah.
But like some trans people that I know, I can't speak for everyone, obviously. Some trans people I know like don't like when people kind of draw comparisons in that way, but I do. I'm like, yeah, we should find the ways that like I'm like everyone like changes. Like transition for me is just about like, yeah, it's a period of intense change, and the type of change that it is, and like the dynamics are specific, but like a lot of the internal experience of change is like something everyone gets, like having to tell their parents that they're not who their parents thought they were, you know?
yeah.
And like that is, and their parents having to deal with that, and how do you deal with your parents dealing with that? And like everyone gets these things, and it's something I try and do with my comedy too, is like, I'm like, well, how can I connect my trans experience to something that everyone feels, but still also, this is the challenge, like, but not make it feel like it's for like cis people or like for everyone.
Yeah.
I want trans people in the audience to be like, how is everyone laughing at this?
Yeah.
Sure.
You know,
Yeah.
I want them
Sure.
to feel like I made it for them, but I want everyone to feel like they had a good time and it was never school.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
that like, do you see with not to get specific, obviously for many reasons, but like, do you ever look at some trans comedians or who it feels like school, and you go like,
Yeah.
you go
oh,
like,
yeah. And you know what? There is one, and if I say this name, can you blurt it out?
we absolutely can.
yeah.
You know it? Did you know?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Like-
yeah, we will.
Like,
We'll bleep it out.
first of all, oh my
I in
God.
my head, I said, it's gotta be.
We can't even really talk about it because there's no way of talking about it without then revealing who it is. I feel like,
But yes,
but yes, but
I'm
no,
like-
I totally get it.
This, I hesitate to use the word comedian.
sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's not the right
like-
word for what's
But
happening.
and I
I'm like,
think
go to
it's-
Mike's.
I think it's so frustrating, like from outside, obviously, where I go, fuck. Now when and I understand that all art shouldn't be to prove the conservatives wrong.
Oh, but
I
I
go
know
like, but
where
like
you're
if
going with
someone
this, and I
sees this
feel
and
it.
says not funny,
Yeah.
they're not wrong.
They're not wrong.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is,
and for
I'm like, so, and the
but
whole,
but isn't part of here's like is like, and comedy's lost this to a certain degree, but I feel like it had it for a bit, where like sometimes bullying, bitchiness, talking shit, critiquing is the filter to prevent bad art
Yes.
from getting, Netflix
Yeah.
specials.
You're actually
and,
so right.
And but I feel like certainly, especially in, I mean, a bigger umbrella, a queer, but then trans specifically, it's
Yeah.
like there's a feeling of like, hey, do we got to be fucking hard on each other too? We got Dave Chappelle talking shit about
Totally.
every goddamn day, and now,
Yeah.
but if you don't have that, then you don't create, you don't prioritize and highlight the great artists, and the great artist is what's going to get all the people outside to fucking
yeah.
go
Literally.
fuck. Well, I'm
Literally.
transphobic, but I really like that joke.
That's
Yeah.
exactly, no, literally like my project is like, can I make songs catchy enough that transphobia ends?
yeah.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to have Nazis' toes tapping.
Let's go to our next segment. This has got to stop.
This has gotta stop.
This has got to stop. Well, you did yours. You did
Yeah.
yours.
I did
I'll do
mine,
mine. Again, this is closer to the holidays. I don't care that it's Christmas. I do not need
Period.
my pornography to be Christmas related.
Oh, I
I feel
agree.
like something
Yes.
has changed where if I go to
Oh.
any of my porn sites and it's Christmas or today, it was like
New
I don't
Year?
need a
Like
New
New Year?
Year's
No.
porn. I don't need to. By the way, I don't need to see them fuck in those cardboard hats.
Yeah.
Because that's what it
Yeah.
is. It's not like
a condom that's
Also,
like
it's
20,
always like a
25.
bad Mrs. Claus costume. Do you know what I mean?
or it's like a it's like Santa,
the
but
problem
Like a
is the
bad
costume
elf.
department is like,
It's like I don't need to see an elf fucked.
And
Do
also,
you know?
I don't want to see Santa. I don't want to be like, oh, Santa has a 9-inch dick, and I watched kids being put on his lap all day long. I don't want to know any of
That's
that.
so true.
For
Yeah.
me, Santa's like a genitalless being. I don't
Yeah.
do you feel like there's like like a holiday equivalent of furries. Like there's
yeah.
there's people who are like actually as part of the we call ourselves celebrators.
Yeah.
Like as like part of the celebration community.
Yeah.
Like we all like, what's your holiday? Like I'm a Thanksgiving. You know what I mean?
I could see it.
But also going along with this, they're sneaking fit Santas into just normal commercials now. No, like you know,
yeah.
like skinny Santas. No, because
This goes back to our Broadway. It's like
no.
It's like it's fat phobic.
It's a fat. I don't care what color he is, but he's fat. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
he better be fat.
You can't just no. You know what? We only get so few things to take it away.
Yeah.
You know, for some.
It's like you can't be skinny and jolly.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Can I have a movie pitch just came to my mind?
Okay.
So economy's collapsing. Everything's getting really bad in the world.
Yeah.
And they realize that we can no longer have a holiday wrapped, centered around presents. So the country collectively, the government, leads a kind of PR campaign to say, hey, Santa died.
Oh my God.
And he used to do this thing with presents.
He was real.
But he
was
was
real.
real.
He was actually real.
And they have to they have to figure out a new movie for it. And The Rock,
Oh, wow.
almost saved Santa.
Yeah.
That's a really
And then The Rock is
funny-
like, the real gift is that you don't get presents. You can take a moment and appreciate what you have.
Wow. It's a great movie.
Yeah, the real gift is austerity. It's
the real gift.
And then it becomes a porno, and they put on years ads. But it was Christmas Day. It was like I was like, who's like hankering for this?
Who's on these porn sites Christmas Day?
Yeah, what kind of sicko?
Christmas Day.
Yeah.
You know,
Day 1
6
of
a.m. I'm
Christmas
up.
Day.
I'm looking.
Yeah.
I'm checking again at 1 p.m. It's still on there. You know, I'm checking.
Yeah. There's a 24-hour live stream for the Christmas Gooners.
Let's go into our final segment. You better count your blessing.
You better count your blessing.
You better count your blessing. Something that we're thankful for. Russ, you want to start?
No, you go first, and I'll go
me?
second. Yeah.
Okay. My blessing. I don't think I've shouted her out on the podcast. Lexi Leach, who
I love her.
books The Silver Lining for me and is also producing this New Year's show tonight.
Mm-hmm.
I'm nervous. It's like a show that it should be fun, and
Yeah.
I should drink.
You should
Yeah,
have
there
fun.
you
You should be a
go.
little more loosey goosey.
Yeah.
And like my voice is a little
I know.
raspy, and we're gonna
it's
sing.
like we're gonna sing.
and then
What
like
are you singing?
we're doing Suddenly Seymour.
Oh, that's awesome.
But like, part of, and I'm not like a singer again, but I started taking
Yeah.
like voice lessons, like, and
awesome.
it's really, it's cool, and the old frustrations reemerge.
Mm-hmm.
But like one of the reasons I stopped singing because I didn't want to be anxious about singing.
yeah.
And so I'm really like, I know I need to like just have a conversation with myself tonight and go, no one is there
No one cares.
to
Yeah.
judge my.
It's gonna
my-
be. There's a band. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be 3 minutes. You
Yeah.
know, that's what I'm telling myself. Yeah.
But Lexi Leach is producing it. It's a Bell House, my first full show there, and I'm thankful to her for being part of
Yeah.
the crew.
That's so
on this.
exciting. That's also surprising to hear that it's the first full show there.
Yeah, I do a little one here, but
Yeah.
I was looking for like a New Year's gig, and they're always depressing, and
Sure.
and then my manager was like, just do a New York one. You're leaving for 3 months. Go do a big. And
That's
so it feels
awesome.
cool.
Fantastic.
I can't believe you're leaving. I'll see you in a couple weeks,
Yeah, see you in January.
but still, yeah, I don't think it'll feel that different because I'll
Yeah,
see
it's a
you
big-
every couple weeks.
I'm also transitioning to a whole new state,
wow.
California.
You're moving.
So
For
you,
3 months.
So you get
oh,
it.
So I
okay,
get it.
Okay, so you
So
get
you
it.
get it.
So you
I get
get
it.
it.
So you get it.
Let me tell you, when I
That's
land
exactly-
there, first thing I'm gonna do
This
is go
is gonna-
see Wicked.
Really?
I'm gonna sit. No.
Oh,
I
and
just,
to cry
Oh,
because
yeah, yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Sorry, I'm bad at the callbacks. You know, I'm not
No,
good
no,
at
no.
improv. Boy.
I have a pillow for the flight for my neck. It's the whole series.
Yeah.
Just for 3 months. I'm coming back.
I just got
I'm
the
coming
pillow
back.
one. I just got the pillow one.
Everything, all the press announcements, and I like teased that I was going to LA in the fly or
Yeah.
whatever. But
Yeah.
every magazine's like, before Gianmarco moves to LA, and I got messages, people being like, well, bye. I guess I'll see you
Bye,
later. And I have to be like, no.
Yeah.
But maybe they can tell.
Yeah. Well, we'll
what-
see. You'll try it out. And
What are you doing there?
Just Tova and I are both just seeing what opportunities lie in LA.
Yeah.
And there's some podcasts, there's some shows. I'm going to film a special in February at the Elysian.
Amazing. Cool.
So it's like, and she's, she goes to the industry parties there, and Larry David's there, and so it's.
Cool.
I mean, it's.
Yeah.
The first time, the third time I went to LA, it was like. I'll just say this story. It's like it sounds like a bragging, annoying story, but it was like Judd Apatow comes to the cellar.
Yeah.
He's never seen me though, because you go downstairs in a crowded space. No, there's no back area.
Yeah.
For someone to listen.
Right.
So I've seen him multiple times. Then I do one show in LA, and because it's a bigger space, you're able to hear every comedian on stage. I'm on a show with Judd Apatow, and the next day I got a text. I was like, "Hey, it's Judd. You want to come do the show?" And that's the feeling of like,
whoa,
fuck you. I guess you got to go to LA, because it literally was a person I'd seen here, and literally it was the geography, the lack of space, that made a lack of interaction. And it's something as small as that, the landscape that shifts the interaction. And so again, I can't drive. It's going to cost an arm and a leg to live there.
Yeah.
I like the health food. I don't like being around everyone being in industry. I feel weird and hollow.
Sure.
Definitely.
So I do think I'll be back and be bi-coastal or whatever.
So you are bi.
Bye.
At the end of
Bye.
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 Bye. Do you have a blessing?
Yeah. So many blessings, at the end of the year. You just start thinking about everything. I'll give Nicole. I mean, the thing is, I threw a loop for doing this show tonight, and she's always very supportive of. I just like that. I feel relieved that I'm never worried about like, oh, I'm gonna have a New Year's thing. You know what I mean? Like, she's just always supportive. It doesn't feel like there's ever like a thing where I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, it just feels like.
You know what? I don't know what you mean.
I mean, I still have to. I have promised I'm going to be home by 10, so we'll figure that out. But yeah, it's just nice to, be able to feel like I can do things, and it doesn't feel. I feel supported in my creative choices. Yeah.
Well, if you're a longtime listener of the show, that's Russell's 60th blessing. That is his wife. Esther, do you have a blessing?
Yeah, I'm gonna say my mom. Because she came up and like helped me for the first couple weeks of recovery, which
nice.
I never thought our relationship would get there.
Wow,
which is really nice. After I came out, she was not particularly supportive. The joke, then she realized I was turning into her, and now she supports it.
Oh, that's
very
I see.
So it's very
that's very funny.
But like, I don't know. I just like, a lot of my friends. Cis or trans, but especially trans, have very hard relationships with their mom, and she's just like, she's done the work. She's been in Al-Anon for years. She knows how to accept change and stuff. And she's just like, I've been really like impressed with. I know this. That feels weird to say about my mom, but like, I've been really impressed with all the ways that she's like grown and changed and accepted me.
Totally.
I totally, and I get why it's strange to say impressed, but I understand that sentiment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's been
people
nice.
Listen. People being old, they can still be impressive.
They can
it
still
happens
be
so
impressive.
rare. It happens so rarely
Yeah.
that it feels unusual.
Exactly.
Because it's so easy to be stuck in your ways.
Stuck and
It's
stay the same.
so
and it is
easy.
impressive as an adult too.
To be
I'm like,
curious or change it's always like, wow, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
And
cool.
I feel like I have to be like a little like walking on eggshells of like, okay, so you can accept this too. Like, I have a vagina now. You're cool with that now?
Yeah.
Okay, cool, great. Like,
Yeah.
But I feel like when I see it too, you're like, it's always like oh shit, I have to remember that too. Like because we all do things, or we all have ideas, or all things, and they like it's inspiring to be like, okay, yeah, where can I be more changey?
Absolutely.
Where can I be more?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah.
I'm all set. I'm all set.
Esther, where can people find you?
You can find me on my Instagram and my TikTok at Esther Fallick. I'm gonna be on some shows. I kind of haven't been like I'm gonna do my solo show again very soon. I'm sure. I've been focusing on recovery, but now it's like I'm gonna start setting some dates. So just look out for it on my Instagram.
Yeah.
Have you? This is such a specific singer question, but I feel like, especially my teacher now, it's they always go like they really want me to engage the muscle that is
Yes.
right at the bottom, right in the genitals. And have you sung yet?
So it's funny that you ask this because this is a specific singer question, and it also has been something I've been thinking about a lot.
Yeah.
Like I took basically 3 months off from like singing even at home, and I've started like that was part of what Wicked was for me. Is like I would start to sing that at home a little bit and like engage these muscles that have been slowly kind of atrophying a little bit.
Yeah.
And kind of like relearning. I've sung now on like 2 shows. And it is I'm definitely there's a freedom in my body that is ultimately going to be good for my voice.
Yeah.
But I have to like re-engage, like relearn those muscles.
Yeah.
So it is a bit of
Yeah.
it's an adjustment, but it's going to be better than before even. So
Good.
that's exciting.
To quote Legally Blonde. Russell, what do you want to plug?
At Russell J. Daniels, and The Downside is going on tour this March.
Yeah, let me give you guys some dates. Well, let me say mine, and then I'll get to Downside through that. Huntsville, Alabama, January 15th for me. Oklahoma City, day after that. Wichita, Kansas, and then Lawrence, Kansas. Weekend after that, a Canada run, but it's pretty much sold out. Bakersville, California. Bottom line is Downside. We've sold out Chicago. We've sold out Seattle by this point, I'm sure. San Diego, I got a feeling.
San Diego, come on now, get those tickets. San Diego.
And join the Patreon. That's the best thing you do for us. Patreon.com/Downside. I think we're going to try to live stream one of the live
Oh, cool.
episodes. We're going to be doing like a live Zoom where people can talk to us live.
Oh, yes.
We're doing all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
And join the Patreon. And otherwise, tell your friends. We're building. We're growing.
Yeah.
How would you do the Wicked riff?
Whoa.
That's it.
That's it.
This is
Yeah.
the
That's what I
Downside.
would do. Yeah.
You're listening to The Downside
The Downside.
with Gianmarco Soresi.
What are you doing for New Year's?
You're listening to The Downside
The Downside.
with Gianmarco Soresi.